Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to PSGL Season 25, Round 6 at Britain. I am your commentator, IRL Neon. My co-commentator, my new co-commentator has joined us. Felix, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, hello. My name is Felix. I'm currently driving in PSGL F3 as well, and I'm very pleased to be here and commentating with you.
That's good to see, and it's good to have you on board as well. As we do load into Britain, as we saw last week, Callum Anderson did win with also some commentator issues with my mic in quali. Hopefully we don't have that issue this week, which I hope not, and no one like Black Phoenix baiting me saying my mic isn't working when it actually is. Just make sure everything's all good on the stream, and it is. As weather looks good then. Well, I'm going to give you then, Felix, the top four who you think's going to be on the top four today, like as a guess out of everybody in this grid.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty difficult for me, obviously, as it's my first FP race. So I won't go with a proper prediction. I'll just tell you who I think could be up there. Yeah, you should obviously never count out Lickle, I think. He's always a pretty good call. And then we should watch out for the drivers who are in the cars, which got a good chassis or good downforce around these very fast corners around Silverstone here. So I think Callum could actually be a good call for today again in the Ferrari. But like I said, always the guys in the in the cars with a lot of downforce. So yeah, I think maybe like the Renault guys, McLaren guys. Those guys could be right up there today.
Well, you are correct there, of course, since it is your first time in comms with me, and in FP you don't know everybody's pace yet, which hopefully you will get very soon with this race, of course, and you're not that far off actually with my prediction. I'm going to go with Lickle first in quali. Callum I'm also going to go with second, and I'm going to think Ash and possibly Bugatti third and fourth. As actually Ash has shown some good pace, it's just sometimes been unlucky, as he is in the Williams. So he hasn't got the downforce or chassis advantage, however he has the engine advantage compared to Toro, so what Lickle has.
Yeah, I think the engine could play a big part here, especially on the hanger straight into the famous Stowe corner, the right-hander. Where we need to have a look in terms of track limits as well. You're not allowed to go off to gain time because the game actually allows you to do so, but you are not supposed to. So that's going to be interesting. And yeah, obviously the braking is not too heavy, so not that easy to overtake into there. But if you get a good run out of Maggots, Beckett's and Chapo, I think you've got a really nice chance of overtaking the other car. But we do have to bear in mind that we are witnessing some differences in terms of top speeds, in terms of engine power.
Oh, you are correct there, as right now we're on board with Ash Best, who's currently on a lap, as he's took for the first sector quite decent, as he is on the soft compound tyre. It is a one-stop strategy, I believe, around Britain, soft to medium. If you go on the hard, you may be slow and could lose a few positions out of everybody else doing soft to medium, as he locks up a little bit there out of the entry of sector 2, as he's taken the old first straight at the start, old starting grid lineup, as he takes that corner very nice and tidy there. Just going through the fast right now, lifts off a little bit but then starts putting the power on. That's probably because the Williams hasn't got the best downforce package compared to anybody else on the grid. See how he takes Maggots and Beckett's now. Nice and tidy out of the hanger straight. He's currently purple, but that's because he's the first one to be quick on this sector, as he's now in sector 3. He's going another fast right where you've got to be careful with track limits, as he's now coming into the chicane. Oh, locks up again a little bit there on the tyres through the final 2 corners. Then what time will it be? He's already out of ERS, which is going to cost him a couple of tenths, and he is a 128.8 currently PB.
Yeah, I was just watching Lickle's lap, which didn't look too bad either. But currently Cam is actually on the medium compound, and he is currently in pole position. Obviously, we still got a lot of time up on our hands, but he's currently 100 of a second in front of Lico on the slow compound, so that's looking quite promising actually, due to the fact that Lico's lap didn't look too bad from my point of view. Not many major mistakes, or I didn't actually see one major mistake, so he could be in a shot for a really good position in this quali session.
You could be right there as well, as Chelsea Pie is currently now in Sector 1 on a lap in the Alfa Romeo on soft tyres right now. As the Red Bull there, I believe that was Town, who's currently in third with a 28.5, let him through. So here comes Cherry 2 Pie then.
I think we could see a good time from Dre here. It said on the minimap that he set the purple second sector so far, as he's coming around the final few corners now to finish his first flying lap. He comes around the final corner, he crosses the line, only goes 6th fastest, quite a while behind New Zealand Cam so far, 1.3 seconds. Even though it said his second sector was the quickest, might just be the game glitching a little bit, but yeah, only in 6th place currently. That is not too good as a first lap, but maybe it was just the banker. Maybe it was just securing that you've got a lap in, to not stand there at the end of the session without a proper lap, because you invalidated every one of them.
You are correct there, as here comes Cherry 2 Pie now around the final corner, takes provisional pole, a 28 flat there, only a couple hundredths quicker than Cam on a different compound of tyre. So Cam looks very strong on those mediums right now, as I will now go on board with Lordy, who is on a lap right now. If you want to take over there, Felix, he's currently just in Sector 2, coming through the old grid lineup.
Yes, I can, as he's coming down to the Cops corner now, the quick right hander. Very tricky to not track extend here. Turn 9 that is. Clips the apex quite nicely. Could have carried a bit more speed into there, but was a solid run. Now we're coming into the S section around Silverstone. That is quite a lot of fun through there if you just get it timed perfectly, as he just gone straight through the racing point on my screen. It says again purple second sector for him as well. I don't know if that's a glitch, but that run didn't look too bad. Didn't quite use the revs on the engine. Doesn't track extend through Stowe either. That looked solid, but could have carried a bit more speed into there. Coming around the final few corners, shifting up to third to get the extra traction down. Coming around the final corner, he comes across the line. It's only P8 so far for Lordy.
Oh, Lordy won't be happy with that, but he won't be disappointed either, as he's not within the top 10. He could get dropped down into the top 10 and get a free choice of tyre in the race. And as I've just noticed, the weather is getting a bit cloudier. With 10 minutes remaining in the session, is there possibility of rain due? It is Britain, of course. It usually rains. Could we see some rain, as the Ferrari of Boomer is now currently on a lap? But Felix, with the weather, what do you think the situation will be near end of quali?
It could be tricky. It might. It could be that the rain starts officially, in terms of the weather forecast, that it starts officially after the session has ended. But we know how this game works, so the rain might come a bit earlier than expected. But we can't be sure, due to the fact that we don't have a weather forecast as a spectator. Yeah. But also through the fact that a few guys have set their laps on medium so far. 3 guys, I think. Yeah, it looks like those were 3 people so far. I think we could see some dry running all the way through the session, which wouldn't surprise me on this game, to be honest. Even though it looks very cloudy, I think it could stay dry. Otherwise, I think there will be a lot more chaos going on the track, as we have a yellow flag. I think Boomer just slightly touched the racing point.
Callum slowed down to let his teammate go on his lap. It's currently, Boomer's actually up on his time. Oh, I actually haven't done time actually, but he is purple. Could we see one of the Ferraris now taking pole position, as Calmanson wasn't that keen on getting Brain. It's not his favourite track, of course, but
yes, he goes fastest.
Wow, 27.5 there, 5 times quicker than Cherry Pie right now. He's on a 28 flat. And his teammate Callum Anderson will be on a lap next, I believe. He's currently on 18th. Not done a lap
yet. Yes, he's coming around turn 2 now.
If you want to go on his lap there, Felix.
Yeah, he's coming around the first few corners. That's the slowest part of the track. You have to really keep control of your car, especially the exits are very tricky if you can't get the traction down properly. But that looked all very decent so far, coming down into the long left-hander where Sebastian Vettel made his dive bomb on Valtteri Bottas in 2018 in real-life Formula 1. And yeah, the exit looked a bit slow here, could have maybe carried a bit more speed through there. But all in all, that looked like a solid lap so far as he's coming down into Cobbs again, the right-hander. He really uses all the track width there, very nicely done by Callum. Obviously, the Ferrari has got the downforce in comparison to all the other midfield cars. That doesn't quite clip the apex of the left-hander. Neither does he on the right-hander here. That would have compromised his exit. As yeah, he will suffer from lower top end speeds here, as he maybe is getting a bit of a slipstream from his teammate there, who's currently in P1, a bit slow through here, but doesn't track extend, which is really important to not get his lap time invalidated. Coming around the final two corners, very nicely taken through here. But again, he runs out of ERS, as many drivers have. Goes P6 so far, around 7/10 behind his teammate at the moment. I don't think he will be too happy with that.
Yeah, he probably won't, as he did get a win, which would have brought up his confidence last week in Austria. With his teammate currently in pole though, right now, with Cherry Pie still in second, still 5/10 off. As none of, well, Juho and Soy have still not gone on laps yet. One of them's on hards, possibly, and one's on mediums. Still haven't gone out, which is very interesting, as we'll go on board with, actually, Chasey Pirate now is actually on a lap. Get a bit of slipstream from the
Cam is also on a lap, by the way. He's currently
he...
third on the medium compound, and he's out on the softs right now.
You sure he's out on a lap? Because it says he's on an out lap. For me.
He's running high hot lap ERS, but not sure.
He might be on a lap, actually. You might be right. It does this glitch sometimes where it may say he's on an out lap, but he's actually not. So we'll keep an eye on that then, as also we'll go on Cherry next. So here comes Cam then.
I'm not sure, because he's in hot lap ERS mode.
Yeah, he's almost out of fuel as well. I'll make sure and have a look. Yeah,
but he was on a lap. Oh my goodness,
3.
That's a really good lap again from him.
Well, his Cherry's backed off, so I think he's made... Oh, he's got a wing damage. Cherry made a mistake somewhere and has got a big chunk of wing missing. As it will now go on board with Lickle, who isn't on a lap at the moment, but will go on board with him very shortly. As I go on board with From right now, he is on a lap. He's just ahead of Lickle in the McLaren, currently 9th right now. Let's see which place he can get further up on the grid with a good lap. As he's flying through Mackett to Beckett with the rear kicking out a little bit. Saves it. Activates his DRS now through the hanger straight, currently 3/10 up on his lap. Could possibly
that currently would bring him up to P9.
And he's coming through the fast right-hander. Got to get it nice, tidy within track limits, as he does. As he's now finishing off the lap into the little chicane. Now through the final corner, got to get traction perfect here. And he does, and From proves over 3.5 and goes P9, as we did say. We'll now go on board with Lickle, who's currently in P5, who is on a lap if you want to take over Lickle, Felix.
Yeah, as he hopefully won't get held up by From there, who is currently right in front of him. So Lickle on his second lap right now, should be his second lap at least, I think. As he is struggling a little bit on traction there onto the first long straight, or the first long DRS straight as well, now into the long left-hander, which yeah, almost without like a big transition cuts into the right-hander, which is a lot slower. Again, like I said, the traction is really tricky on most of these slow corners here. Uses all the track width so far. It's looking pretty decent so far. Yeah, again, goes out wide on the curb. A beautiful run through Cobbs. Clips the inside and outside curb on the exit then. And now he's coming through the S section of Maggots, Beckett and Chapel. Clips the apex quite nicely as well. A bit late on the power it looked like, but I'm not too sure actually. I might be mistaken right here, but he's coming up to the final few corners of this lap through Stowe now, down to 5th gear. Doesn't quite track extend, really nicely taken, but he dives into the pit lane. So he might have had a track extend at some point, which invalidated his lap. Or it was all part of his plan as well.
Yeah, it could be part
but
of his
I'm
plan.
not
We
too
do
sure
have 4
about that.
minutes remaining of the session. You may think that if you did a lap, you couldn't do another lap because the pit lane is very slow. It's 37 miles an hour pit lane speed limit. So
And Boomer is currently on a lap, currently in second place, and he did improve on his first sector there by just over 1/10. Tim Hole, meanwhile, goes into P3. Not a bad job from him at all.
yeah, especially in the Haas as well. He's currently third with a 28 flat. It's a couple of tenths off the McLaren though. Sorry, not the McLaren, the Ferrari. But he should be happy with that, especially in a Haas, because the Haas has got its flaws. There's currently Boomer's 2 and a bit tenths up on his lap.
Yeah, he seems to get provisional pole here just about 3 minutes before the end of the session. So he might top the timing sheets here. I'm pretty sure he should if he doesn't mess up his final sector now as he comes around the final few corners. Up to 6th gear, comes across the line, and yes, he takes provisional pole for the moment. Over a 10th in front of New Zealand Cam at the moment, who came out again. I'm not sure if Boomer has got enough fuel in his car to go for another run after his in-lap now. But if he hasn't got enough fuel in the car, then he might be out of contention for another shot. And that could prove dangerous because obviously there are still a few people we expect to improve their lap times, especially Cam right now, who is on his out lap, and Lickler as well. He hasn't set his final run either yet. But just look at the gap between P2 and P3. That's massive. That's more than 6 tenths so far.
Yeah, you are right there. As it's actually it's almost 8 tenths actually, which from the leader it's 7 and a bit tenths. But yeah, you are right. It's around about 6 tenths. But right now though, Amos is currently on a lap. He is the Renault in 14th. As Greeny did improve as we did catch on. Wow, Felix was giving a little bit of commentary of the other driver. As Greeny did move up to 15th from 17th right now in the Williams, so he hasn't had the best qualifying. Ash in 12th neither has had the best. However, though, AMS in the Renault through Mackett's and Beckett's. 3 did kick out. Now down the big long straight, almost 2.5 tenths up in sector 2 now. As he's coming now through the fast right-hander. Got to make sure you are within the track limits. Could invalidate. And he does, keeps it under control. A little bit of a lock-up I heard there. I didn't see it, as with the camera angle we didn't get the best. Through the final corner though, what time will it be? A 28.3 promotes him to 12th.
In the meantime, Cam is on his way to take provisional pole again. As Boomer has retired, he is not able to counter the other laps that are coming in right now. But Cam is 2 tenths up on his lap right now. Cherry is getting in the way. He's getting distracted. He outbrakes himself. That might have ruined his run now as he comes up to the line. And he doesn't improve, I think.
He did improve by a little bit.
He did, by a little bit. But I think that traffic in the last sector really put him off there a little bit. And I can definitely understand that because it can be really off-putting when you are on your fast lap completely focused and then there are just 2 slower drivers who are preparing for their final laps in the way. I'm pretty sure that ruined his run for pole position right now. CC Brain goes 3rd fastest. Still, he's around 6 tenths behind New Zealand Cam at the moment.
Yeah, right there. We're on board with Lickle right now, but I've got to say, from 4th till 16th, it's quite close to the top. This reminds me of Austria with PSGL F3 with 1st to 18th. It was only 9 tenths.
Look at 4th to 12th especially. That's about 3 tenths. And that is really, really close. So every minor improvement could put you up by a few positions actually. So it might be crucial, even if you're just half a tenth up on your time, to finish that lap as Cherry goes off the track completely on his last lap as he is coming around the final few corners now. But
Spaghetti takes 3rd. Lickle takes 3rd, 127.8 and a 127.8
can
from
Cherry? Yes, Cherry takes 3rd. Oh, all within the 27.8 as well, Jared. That is really close.
is right. CC Brain won't be on another lap, so he was also within the 27.8s. It is a very close grid right now as we'll go on board with Lodi, has unfortunately made a mistake. How about Cowboy? Here comes Cowboy around the final corner. It takes P7 then. 127.9, so people are improving. What about the Mercedes?
He's invalidated.
So he's invalidated. What about Juho?
Juho's still on his lap.
So it looks like so he would be the only one who hasn't done a lap then at the Mercedes team. Juho then will be setting a lap, of course. Where will he be in the field? And he takes 18th at 129.6 on a set of medium tyres. He will get a free choice of tyres, of course, though. As now wait for CC Brain, Dre and Sutty to retire. And that is your qualifying over and done with.
Yeah, very close, especially up front. I mean, seems like Cam and Boomer will run away with it in the race eventually. I mean, they've got us around, yeah, not quite, but around a 5/10th gap to P3, which is quite a lot actually. But then just look at the gap between P3 and P7. That is so close. So I think the fight for the podium could be up in this race, and we could see some battling for P3 then. It could be very close all race long.
Yeah, as now the official qualifying results will pop up then. As Tom says, why are people qualifying on the mediums? No, I don't know. However, though, we will now go down the grid as Boomer is in first with a 127.2. Cam in second. Cherry is now third with Lickle fourth. Bigatti fifth. These three were very close to each other. CC Brain in sixth. Cowboy 7th, Tim in 8th, Punishtown drops to 9th, Lodi in 10th, Kalmanson, who was the race winner of Austria, is in 11th, from 12th, AMS 13th, Mr. Grumpy 14th, Ash 15th, Dre 16th, Greeny in 17th, Juho 18th, Dino 19th, and the only person not to settle up was Sutty in the Mercedes, who lines up in 20th.
I just want to say, before the race starts now, just let's keep Callum in mind. I mean, he's only starting P11, but he gets his own choice of tyres. So he might be able to do the opposite strategy, starting on the mediums, going onto the soft. And I think that could put him right in the fight if there's a bit of chaos in front of him, especially considering how close these guys within the top 10 are actually. But yeah, I think Cam and Boomer will have a race of their own if they keep on what they were doing in quali. Then they will run away with it eventually. But we could see a nice fight between them as well for the race win. I mean, that was really close between them in quali as well. So I would be definitely up for that, to see a fight for victory and a fight for P3 in that race.
Yeah, you're correct there, of course. There's a lot of battles to be decided with strategy, of course. And yeah, I won't count Callum out. Could do the reverse strategy, but so could the other 10 drivers who didn't make it within the top 10. As for some reason, then it only showed me 2 cars on the grid, but now it shows me all of them. As we'll get tyres and everything up on the screen. As then, so in 11th, Callum did go on the opposite strategy, but so did from AMS, Mr. Grumpy and Ash. The only person who didn't was Dre, who was in 16th, Greeny, Juho, Dino, and so he also went on the mediums. So it's very interesting that Dre in 16th didn't. With the weather cloudy, I know there's possibly not a chance of rain, but could Dre may have some information that we don't have, that there is rain on the way, and maybe he thinks it's going to come really early.
Yeah, that might be the case, or he just thinks that he isn't able to gain enough time on the quicker set in his second stint then to really make up all those positions or all that time he loses on the slower tyre in his first stint. But he obviously needs to clear the traffic now ahead of him. I mean, he now has got around, I think, 5 drivers in front of him who are on slower tyres, so he would want to clear that quite quickly. But that's going to be really difficult to do, especially if you get caught up in first lap incidents, which are not too rare, especially around the first couple of corners, which are very slow. We could see a lot of aggressive moves there. Hopefully not, but some drivers might go for a bit of a aggressive strategy. But let's wait and see. Hopefully we won't see too many crashes here.
Well, Boomer is very eager to get on with this race. He's got a big gap there to Cam. Well, as long as it's within 10 car lengths, Cam won't be penalised. He has to be within that. But if he is out of that, people can report it, of course, because by the rules you have to be within 10 car lengths. Have a look. Cam and Boomer do look like it's going to be a two-horse race between them two, as they look really quick in qualifying. But things can change within the race. There could be a massive crash into turn one. Hopefully not. Of course, I'm not saying I want a massive crash. Hopefully it's a very clean and very exciting race as we wait for the Mercedes 20th to line up on the grid with everybody else, and we should be going underway.
What actually might be the case, just as a quick side note, what you said with the weather, that could actually be a factor. If the rain actually comes, some people might be on a different setup.
Could be true as well then. As we are now on the secret start lights, if you can look on the back of the grid, mate, for me, as we're now up to 4 lights,
yes,
now 5 red lights, and they're off. And it looks like Cam's a no-kit start, but look at Boomer's had a great start off the line in the Ferrari with that engine power. There's already a crash.
There's been a spin.
That is Lickle. Lickle has dropped really far down the grid. Bugatti stays in the 4th. As there's fights all over the place right now. Both Alphas, Toro Rosso, Haas, Renault, Ferrari, Red Bull, all over the place. Has Lickle got any damage on that Toro Rosso?
I'm not sure, but both the racing points dropped down massively as well. They went off the track both into turn 3 it was. I'm not sure if they made contact even before turn 1, but here we have Ash Bass making a move on Frome at the moment as he is trying to get past. Jeray has already gained 2 positions, which is obviously helping quite a lot, but Ash didn't manage to get past Frome. He kept the position for a moment, and Tim got past CC Brain.
It's been a very hectic start then, as we will go on board with Licker right now to have a look if he's got any wing damage, and he's been lucky. No wing damage as I can see. On the soft tyre he won't be happy with that, and he has to now...
And look at CC Brain, he's coming back at Tim at the moment, but he backs out of it. I don't think the outside line there is would have helped him too much, so probably a smart decision from him to back out of that move. Otherwise there might have been a crash. But a great start from Callum as well, as Tim and Cowboy, made contact with Callum, and Cowboy is spun round. They went side by side into the penultimate corner, and I think they just ran out of space at some point. I didn't quite see what happened because it didn't give me the best camera view, but they definitely made contact. I'm pretty sure about that, but yeah, that's just unfortunate for Cowboy. He's now dropped down to 19th place. But what I wanted to say is Callum made a great start as he's weaving a bit on the straight right here. He's already up into 7th, and like I said, he is on a medium compound, so let's just keep that in mind for a second.
Well, yeah, you are right now. Callum Anderson gap to leader from him is only 4.4 seconds, so if Bimmy wants to try and keep the lead of this race, he's going to have to start pulling off a masterclass strategy and the pace, because right now him and Cam have pulled a gap to Bugatti now 1.2 seconds right now, because Bugatti is under threat by Cherry 2 Pie. While they go through Mackett's and Beckett's, and there's that Haas of Tim not that far behind, so Bugatti's going to have to watch his mirrors from the Alphas and the Haas.
Yeah, and in the background, Callum, what we definitely expect now is Callum to be under pressure from the guys behind who are on the stuff. That would be Lordy and Parnage Town. I'm not too sure how to pronounce his name, but Callum goes off the track. He loses a bit of time, but he's definitely under pressure from the Red Bull. Obviously his engine is really helping on the straight to stay in front, but he will be struggling to keep them behind for now. He's already 1.4 seconds behind CC Brain, who is on the soft tyre as well, so DRS won't help him either.
Well, DRS has been nailed, of course, now, and Cam and Bimmer are not that safe yet from Bugatti. Bugatti did close up a little bit into a second, but now it's 1.2. So if I was Cam and Bimmer, I wouldn't battle each other yet. I'd start pulling the gap from Bugatti, as Bugatti's really under threat now from Cherry. 4.5 tenths. DRS has now been activated, as we can see Cherry really closing up now. Doesn't go for a lunge yet. Bugatti maybe trying to save its tyres, trying to stretch them compared to Cam and Boomer, who are really pushing right now. But yeah.
Remember, the Honda engine on this game isn't that quick. It is pretty slow. It I think it's the slowest engine on this game, which is not really suiting the real life 2019 season in my opinion, but that will obviously help Cherry at the moment, as he's currently a bit stuck behind Bugatti, it looks like, but he's obviously got that Ferrari engine right behind him, and he's using that at the moment as he's going side by side, and that looks like a fairly easy move, and yes it is. Up into P3 for Cherry.
You are right there, as Callum still hasn't shook Town off his rear end. Remember though, the Red Bull is on soft tyres compared to Callum mediums. Well, that Ferrari engine is helping him right now, but I'll tell you it's not helping both McLarens, who are currently 9th and 10th, and they look really quick right now compared to the Red Bull and Callum. Although, as you did say, Cherry did get past Bugatti quite easily, and Bugatti's now under threat from Tim in the Haas. But Bugatti now will be getting the bite of Cherry on Cherry right now as well, with DRS possibly in effect.
Yeah, and Lickel, in the meantime, is working his way back up through the field. He's already passed Greeny. He's up into 15th place right now. I think he isn't out of the fight for the points today. I think he might be actually able to still get some points, especially due to the fact that the field is still pretty close. I mean, there are barely any fights at the moment, or any cars which are separated by more than 1 second, and that definitely helps Lickel at the moment. He's actually up into 14th place.
Oh, Cam's gone. Sorry to cut you off, Felix. Cam has gone round into the wall almost.
Oh, yes, he has.
Oh, and he resets the track. I don't know if that is allowed in PSGL, but he has reset the track. Cherry now moves up to 2nd, and this is give Boomer what he needs. Cam was pushing the tyres too much within that dirt with the Ferrari, and Boomer will be licking his lips to win this race in the Ferrari right now, with Cherry in 2nd, 2 seconds behind right now, as here comes Bugatti possibly. Not right now.
Yeah, I mean, Boomer basically has everything within his grasp. Right now. I mean, he's got a 2-second gap. He's in the Ferrari. He has got the downforce. He has got the pace. That's what he showed in quali at least, and in those first 5 laps of the race so far. And he is now able to get a good gap, control the race, and then just run away with it in the end and take the full points in this race.
You're right there as well. It will be 16 points unless he gets a faster start. Then it will be 17 points he'll be getting compared to the guys.
Callum is really struggling meanwhile on the medium. Sorry to interrupt you there, but the gap has really come down to the Red Bull right behind him. I mean, he's already got a 2.9 gap to the cars in front. That is not what he wants to see, but all that helps Lickel to work his way up to the field. He's passed Jure as well. He's now up into 13th place for the moment, and he's not looking that slow in this race, even though he spun on lap 1. Like I said, I think he'd still be in the battle for some points today.
You're alright with that, and we'll go on board with the Haas driver, Tim, who had a good qualifying.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you there, but Cam is making a move on Ash Pass into the S section. That could be very hairy. Oh my goodness, that was really close between Cam and Ash right there. That was very clean though. Both of them left each other enough room, and Cam just backed out of that. And now Cam comes back for another round, coming in to stow the right-hander. He tries to hang it around the outside, but he just has to back out of there. Will he make a move down the inside, or maybe around the outside? Yes, he does. Down the inside he goes into the third to last corner, but still can't get the position from that Williams in front of him. His Honda engine is not really helping at the moment.
Well, also with that Honda engine not helping him. However, Lickel, it helped quite easily against the Renault. Got through the position just behind them two. Still scrapping away for P10 right now. Ash and Cam going tooth and nail. This may be further down the grid compared to everybody else fighting, but this is actually a battle where the side by side
Lickel goes down the inside.
That was a bit silly in my opinion, mate. You should have waited your turn. Cam was going to try a switch back, but luckily no damage, as I did see from the Toro Rosso. Lickel having out his under threat by the Renault.
Callum has been overtaken. Yeah, I definitely saw that coming on his medium tyres. Like I said, he was losing a lot of time to the cars in front, and now the Red Bull has finally gone past the Ferrari of Callum, who's still out on that medium compound, and the Red Bull now has the chance to pull away from him in clean air and can try to catch back up to the top 5.
You're correct there, and Cam's still not finished with Ash, but Lickel's not finished with Cam. As I got side by side through Mackett and Beckett's there, as Lickel had to back off and just realised that there's plenty of time to make moves, as he may have a good run at the hanger straight then, and he does, as he's possibly going to go on the inside line. If Cam's going to leave it open, he does leave it open. On the inside he goes, and we can see a Haas overtaking a Renault just behind them, as there was a bit of lag there between Cam and Lickle as they go side by side. Cam, I don't know there, I don't know if that was overtaken off the track. Lickle didn't give him much room there, so he kind of shoved him off on my POV there. As right now then, Cam still holds Lickle behind, and this isn't good for Lickle. Bugatti's in third, the championship leader of course, and Bugatti looks very quick right now in third compared to his teammate. Oh, as Cam's gone off! Cam's in the wall, and that is his front wing over, and that's going to be his race strategy also out of the window. Oh, and that was a dangerous rejoin, and if Callboy reports that could be a penalty there applied to Cam.
Yeah, and in all that, Callum was trying to get his position back. He was trying to get back up to P7, as the Red Bull is not really able to pull away from the Ferrari. At the moment he is still under pressure, but the two McLarens are just waiting for the right moment. Frome also on the medium compound, I think. Yes, he is. He's just licking his lips right now, just waiting for the perfect opportunity. But Callum is still really close to the Red Bull and might be able to gain his place back. That is not what Portage Town really wants in that moment.
Well, you are correct there, of course, and we have to take into factor that those soft compound of tyres will be starting to die off, because those softs can only roughly do 10 laps. As we can see further behind, Frome and Lordy are going at it.
Oh, and Callum goes round the outside of the Red Bull, side by side. Oh, Callum goes a bit off the track. And Callum made the move stick. That was a nice move, I gotta admit, but still, he was off the track with all four wheels, so that might be an illegal move there. I don't think that was quite within the limits of racing, as you are not allowed to overtake a car off the track, which he actually did. He didn't use all the track width, he just went over the curb, took all the runoff area, and then went past. So I'm not sure if that will be without a penalty in the end, but he's definitely got the position for the moment. And that is definitely very frustrating for the Red Bull right behind him.
Yeah, you are correct there, and as unfortunately I did miss that because I was on board with the McLarens just behind them having a little scrap.
And Leclerc's going side by side with Ash.
Oh, we'll go on board with that dead quickly.
But Ash was able to fight him off. Ash is on the medium tyre, he's holding up Lickle, it looks like. As Lickle should get a good run on his soft tyres if they aren't too worn yet, but I don't think that should be too big of an issue around here. As I see the gap between Tim and Bugatti are coming down. Tim goes for a move round the outside into the Stowe corner. They're going side by side. Tim backs out of that as Bugatti doesn't leave him much room, and Tim dives into the pit lane. Does he pick up a 5-second time penalty? No, he doesn't. He just braked right at the right time to not get a penalty there. And Tim goes for the undercut. First one in the pits for their mandatory pits, for their scheduled pit stop. Lickle also in the pits.
I'll then back with both McLarens currently battling for P7 now, as Lickle and Tim have pitted then, so they are doing the undercut, which is very strong around this track, as now this fight for P5 right now is coming into a four-way scrap right now for P5 to P8. Two McLarens, a Honda, a Ferrari engined cars right now, as Callum right now on the mediums isn't getting away that much from Portage Town. Look at that, Portage Town had a lot more grip there on those softs still, with 8 laps being on them compared to the 8 laps mediums.
Yeah, and Bugatti is right upon the rear of Cherry. I'm not sure if it was the case before. I can't really remember. I'm sorry if I missed that, but I'm not sure if it was in that order. Can't quite remember. But anyways, Bugatti is still right behind the Alfa Romeo right now. But his Honda engine won't help him all too much, and I think he might have a DRS failure because his rear wing doesn't open on the straight. So that won't help him to overtake, as both of them dive into the pit lane on lap 9 of this British Grand Prix.
Alright there though, and this is going to help Callum Anderson now start to undercut them on mediums. There's yellow.
We've got a yellow flag. That's a Haas. Yeah, that's Dre. Dre is round.
Has he got a puncher? No, he hasn't. It looked like he had a puncher just the way he came off there. It looked like his rear end was a bit loose. But no, he's in the pits, and unfortunately we didn't catch that. Let's see where Bugatti comes out on track then.
Bugatti has been jumped massively by Cherry. I mean, Cherry was in front, but he gained a lot of time now, it looks like. He was held up a little bit, I saw, at that moment. And yeah, Tim has made the undercut work beautifully. And he just got out of the way and took advantage of both of them fighting on the lap he did his outlap on. So Tim has executed the undercut beautifully and is now up into effective second place, that should be, if Cherry doesn't go for a move here, but he does into the long left-hander, which turns to the right-hander now. So he's got the outside line now, which is going to make it more difficult. Callum picks up a 3-second time penalty in the meantime, but Cherry is not able to get right back past Tim for now, but there's still the hanger straight coming up.
Alright there then, so we will stay on board with this little battle. As we did see coming out the pits, Cherry lost the rear end a little bit, so his mediums weren't the warmest they could have been. However, through Mackett's and Beckett's, he just looks a little bit stabler and a lot quicker, as Tim kind of pulls away a little bit, but he's going to get
CC
the
Brain in the pits now.
And Boomer's also pitted, and this will promote Callum Anderson into the lead currently. From then will take second. Cherry is closing on Tim. Will he go for a lunge into the inside? No, he stays behind right now, saving his ERS as much as he can, as we get a nice nose cam view.
On my screen it looked like CC Brain had a slow pit stop because the crew wasn't ready, but it was just my game glitching out a little bit. His pit stop was within a normal time window there, so he comes back out of the pits and he is behind Bugatti, Cherry and Tim. That is not what he wants to see, but he's got 1 lap fresher tyres than Bugatti and Cherry and 2 lap fresher tyres than Tim now. To the end of the race, that might help him towards the end of this stint.
You're correct there then, as Cherry's going to give it another go now, possibly on the inside late lunge. Nope, he doesn't go for it. It's Cam, it's the current fastest lap, 1:31.3 on the medium compound of tyres. So he is showing that he had the pace to possibly even win this race, but unfortunately he's in 20th right now. Has got a lot to do if he wants to try and score some points in today's race. Currently Callum Anderson is still under threat from Frome. Frome's only 6/10 off him, and the one that's set a medium compound. So when that battle gets within a couple of tenths, which it might actually do very shortly, I will switch to it. However, Cherry and Tim are still fighting it out through Mackett's and Beckett's, as now we will look and see what they can do through the hanger straight.
Yeah, and Frome in the meantime has caught up to Callum and is now within 0.6 of a second, so he might be looking to make an overtake.
What a move Cherry's doing round the outside on the medium compound tyres. Goes off at the track a little bit, but he was already through. Tim sees this, tries to switch, goes alongside. Cherry sees, gives him room. Very good, close racing. Oh, touch to the rear end. Rear end is so loose after that rear end touch, and he's got an issue or something on that Haas. And here comes Bugatti now. Bugatti's going to possibly go into turn 1. No, he stays behind. Very smart there from Bugatti. And now is going to have to make the move a bit later on against Tim, as Tim struggled there, as these 3 are, actually these 4 actually, CC Brain as well, also are catching on the Mercedes. Dead ahead, Pondistown in 14th, and Pondistown's not that far off this battle, so the gap to the leader from the net leader, which was Boomer, is 18.7 seconds.
Bugatti though goes down the inside now of Tim into the left-hander. He has got the outside line though for the next corner. He leaves enough space. Fair racing so far. They don't quite touch wheels. Oh, so close, and now they touch wheels and both go off into the wall. No. And that is a VSC deployed. Bugatti is out of this race. He's lost his front left tyre.
Tim's not. Tim's still. Oh, Tim's actually manually retired. So both drivers are out then.
It was looking so good for both of them. The racing was looking so clean till that point. Callum and Frome actually might have had the opportunity to pit onto the hard compound. Obviously, you will be slower in terms of pace, but you will not lose that much time as AMS dives into the pit lane, picks up a 5-second time penalty, and so does Greeny. Greeny also pits. Both of them were on the medium compound, so they might pit onto the hards, go to the end now, but they definitely gain a lot of time through the VSC now, especially with what you said, that the pit lane takes quite a lot of time. As no, he fits the soft compound actually. Both of them go onto the soft compound and try to drag them around 14 laps.
Yep,
That is quite a lot, as the VSC has ended now, but they definitely didn't lose as much time as they should have.
As now we do go green, green, green.
And Cherry got past Sutty now.
Oh, good job for him then. As CC Brain is also trying to get past Sutty, his teammate, well, in the same car at least. As here comes CC Brain then, easy move there compared to the 12 lap mediums what Sutty has on, who is still not out of it though. He's still trying to fight for the position, but it looks like it is game over for the Mercedes, and CC Brain will take that position with ease, and he moves up to 8th, Cherry moves up to 7th. Now their next target is Boomer, who's currently 5.7 seconds ahead, and right now it looks like Callum Anderson could come out in second, I believe, because the gap to leader from him is 24.1 seconds, and I believe the pit stop round here is 24 to 26 seconds, if I'm right. I could be wrong, it could be 22 seconds. But I believe it's been within that time frame.
Yeah, and just remember that when he pits, he obviously pits onto the soft compound. So he's got fresher tyres, better tyres, as Lickle tries to get past Mr. Grumpy here in the racing point. The McLaren of Lordy tries to follow, goes down the inside. A very brave move from him, but very nicely executed from the McLaren driver. And he moves up into 12th place and follows Lickle and stays right behind the Toro Rosso driver.
Unfortunately, I did miss that, as there's a battle for the lead then. Well, net lead currently is Fromm and Callum battling it out. Only 5/10 within each other, so he's still within DRS range. And it's good to see Fromm up here, as I do see him in F4, of course. He does a very good job in F4. Right now, he's in second with the McLaren. If he keeps stretching the lead like this, he also could be a challenger for podium today, which would be nice to see for Fromm. As the gap, as I said, to the leader from Cherry Pie has closed now by a second, 23.6 seconds now to Callum Anderson. So Callum's lost a bit of time now since Cherry Pie has got clean air. As Fromm has now activated his DRS, will he get a lunge this time?
I think he's a bit too far back, and especially that Renault engine won't help him either. So that Ferrari engine is currently carrying Callum in P1 at the moment, as he hasn't pitted yet, but that definitely helps. But I think he already picked up a 3-second time penalty. I'm not too sure what it looks like in terms of penalties for the other drivers, but he definitely has got one. And as you said, at the moment CC Brain and Cherry are fighting. That will help Callum as well, as CC Brain has got P6 right now.
Oh,
and
Red Bull off.
We've got a safety car, and that really helps Callum now. Callum could be in the lead after that. Let's see who is in the best position right now. I think Lordy can dive into the pits. Yes, Suddy and Lordy are the first drivers who were able to pit because they were right before the pit entry. And I tell you what, Suddy hasn't pitted yet either. So he basically got a free pit stop now. His mandatory pit stop was free, and that will gain him quite a lot of time. Also, AMS and Greeny, who already pitted under the VSC, will now gain all the time on the others when they are in the pits, as their tyres will probably make it from now on till the end. But I'm pretty sure we'll see a lot of pit stops now onto the soft tyre, won't we?
Oh yeah, you are correct there, as we will definitely see the Fromm and Callum Anderson have to go on the soft tyres, and as you said, it has helped Greeny and AMS. However, with tyre life, could still be an issue for those two. However, for everybody else who hasn't pitted, who've done 14 laps on mediums, will be really happy at the safety cars come out, especially Callum Anderson, because he could win another race. This could be 2 in a row for him, and it would be nice to see if he does win it, because it was a great interview he did last week. Of course, as I've said, Callum Anderson has matured a lot recently with his racecraft and his pace, as he does pit with Fromm, as these two hopefully don't get a speeding penalty, and neither of them do, as they will come in for the set of softs. What about Ash? Actually, yeah, he will need to on 14 laps old.
Oh, Jirai got a drive-through penalty. That will ruin his whole race. I feel sorry for Boomer though, because he's not able to pit now because his teammate is in the pits at the moment. He stays out on the medium compound, and he had the race win basically in his pocket, but now it has slipped away from him due to the fact that the safety car came out. He's still got to retain the lead now, as Callum is in the pit lane.
Will Callum take second as Cherry's coming? Oh, sorry, CC Brain's coming up the field. It's going to be close. I don't know if he got within time. Does he have to let him through? Yes, I think he does.
Yes, he does.
Just missed out there. Unfortunately, for CC Brain, it was like one of the Singapore in real life, where I believe it was a Red Bull and a Mercedes, I believe, under the safety car. I can't remember, where a Red Bull tried to get out as quick as possible, got past the line, unfortunately, and had to let him back through.
I'm not sure if I remember correctly, but I think that was the same case in 2015 in Monaco with Hamilton and Vettel, when Hamilton came out of the pits under the safety car. But yeah, we've now got a really interesting race. I mean, CC Brain and Cherry haven't pitted, which actually surprises me, because they are now on the slower compound with around probably 10 laps to go of free racing. We've got the 2 Ferraris in the lead, then the 2 Alphas, and then From on the soft compound. He will be in the fight for a podium. And then we've got the Red Bull and the Toro Rosso. Lico is right in that fight again after his spin into turn 1 on the first lap. He is definitely in the fight for the top 5 positions here, which is really nice to see. And I think we've got some exciting final 10 laps of racing here, Jared.
Well, yeah, you're definitely correct there, especially with the Ferraris first and second, which I thought I'd never see again because of the Mercedes dominance in real life. But, you know, Callum Hansen in second. Hopefully this isn't a Brazil moment. I know you're a Vettel fan, Felix, so hopefully there's no similar moment between teams.
I do hope that all of the drivers keep it clean at the restart. I mean, you definitely can gain quite a lot of a restart, but you obviously can't quite win the race directly after the restart on this track, at least. You can still overtake afterwards. So I think the smartest thing to do is just try to stay close to the drivers in front, but don't go for a silly dive or anything, because that will just ruin your race completely. As all race long already, my timing has been glitched. That it says Dino is in the lead at some points in some parts of the track, which is quite annoying. But
I can clarify, Dino's in 11th. So
yeah, Dino is in 16th actually on my screen. So
no, I think he's actually in 11th for you. 16th is Cowboy. So I think
on my screen, Dino has just spun into turn 3. That is. That's what it showed on my screen, at least. So weird. Racing point of the track. Maybe it's just a glitch. I sometimes had that in league races already, where I didn't see other cars. But we definitely have a very interesting race now in terms of tyre situation as well. I mean, there are some guys with inside the top 10 who are on the medium compound. 5 drivers inside the top 7 even. So let's see how they do. And it's going to be very interesting also what the Ferraris will do. If we will see some team orders, or if they are going straight for it. They're going for the race win, both of them. But I beg you guys, just try to keep it clean. Don't do any silly dive bombs, please. We want to have a clean race till the finish line.
Well, we all do, as safety car will be in this lap. And Tom, Bugatti and Tim had a instance where the old straight used to be for the start-finish line. Unfortunately, those two locked wheels and both crashed into the wall. The safety car is in this lap then.
In the meantime, I'm going to have a look at the back of the field.
Okay then, mate. As right now then, Boomer will be controlling the pace. He doesn't have to pull straight away. He can go as slow as he wants. As long as he doesn't slam the brakes and everybody piles into him, of course, but he can control the pace to a certain extent, as he will be going to be bolting now.
And already contact between Williams and, Greeny and AMS made contact already. That was quite aggressive from Greeny, I think, but not damage done so far, it looks like.
As Cherry gets a 3-second time penalty added to his time. That is going to be crucial Boomer gets an okay start, so does Callum, and it looks like no. Oh, hang on, was that a Williams there? It looks like almost off. It's Greeny and Ash battling.
Yeah, he lost the back end, and now Ash goes down the inside, but he backs out early enough to not make contact with his teammate there. But yes, that was really close. I think Greeny really lost the back end out of turns 1 and 2 there. Obviously, if you've got a loose setup, then it's very tricky to keep the car under control, full throttle through those first few corners. Sutty, meanwhile, moves up a position as he goes side by side with the Renault, who is on the outside still, but he eventually gets the position from Cowboy. Cowboy, though, gets a great exit, gets a good run towards Cops. Will he make the move stick before? Yes, he will. He goes back past into P14.
I say we'll go on board with then Callum Anderson then, who really wants to win this race. He said he may not be able to win this race, but right now he's currently in second. I believe he does have a penalty to his name then, so if he does get by, he needs to make a 3-second gap. Although CC Brain in third is not that far from on the medium compound of tyre.
Yeah, and the gaps are not really too big between the drivers so far. I mean, the biggest gap we've got so far is between P12 and P13, 1.1 seconds. Even now, that's only 1 second. And yeah, I think that is going to be really close throughout the whole course of this final few laps, as Geray takes his drive-through penalty, which he got for speeding under the safety car. Very unfortunate for him at that point, as Lickle is really looking forward to getting past that Red Bull sister car. As he's in the Toro Rosso, he's getting the slipstream. Will he go for a late move into the left-hander here? Yes, he will. Down the inside he goes. As Sebastian Vettel dive bomb, he leaves enough room for the Red Bull on the inside, who hangs it in there for first, but now backs out of there. And Lickle's got the job done. Really nice move indeed. Goes up into P6 for the moment.
That's a good move there, and Lickle, I did catch that of course, but Pornistown isn't finished with him. Lickle may think he got the job done. Porny is saying, if you want this position, you're going to have to stop me from retaking it. As the Red Bull really wants to try and pass that Toro Rosso, and unfortunately loses a bit of time there, and now we're under threat by AMS. So AMS is looking quick on those soft compound of tyres. Callum Anderson still not battling Boomer right now, who's still 5 and a bit tenths ahead of Callum Anderson.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of fighting now in that race. The DRS is being enabled after this lap, I think. I'm not too sure about that.
Lap 30.7.
Yeah, and he could take the extra point as well, but it really looks like Boomer is really quick, even though he's on the slower tyre. I thought Callum would just fly past him and go off into the distance and take the race win with him for the second week in a row, but it seems like Boomer has something to say against that.
Well, that is true, but also DRS has only just been activated, as we do have a few more laps left of this race, so anything still can happen. Maybe Callum's not trying to overheat softs already. And remember, Boomer's tyres are maybe only 9 laps old, so they're not going to have that much wear to them, probably 20% at least. As right now, though, Lickle's still under threat by the Red Bull of Pornistown right now, and could be getting challenged. And we'll go on board with From, actually, as From is in P5, currently challenging Cherry, who's in 4th. Could make an easy move with DRS now in play. Let's see what he can do. He's going to have a bit better aero package compared to the Alpha.
But remember, the Alpha's got the straight line speed in comparison to the McLaren. Obviously, Renault versus Ferrari engine, but From just has that grip on the softer compound right now. But he's just not quick enough on the straight so far. Obviously, Cherry is getting the DRS and the tow from his teammate in 3rd place at the moment. Maybe there are some team orders going on there. Maybe CC Brain is trying to hold his teammate within that 1 second window to kind of drag him along, as AMS picks up a 3 second time penalty. That could hurt his race quite a lot, as he's not that far away from P11 at the moment. So currently that would demote him out of the points.
Well, yeah, Dino currently in 11th right now. Possibly not for you with the glitch you may have with him. Juho in 12th. Lordy's trying to get past Juho as much as possible. Oh, as Juho almost rear ends Dino there. Wasn't expecting probably that sort of line from Dino, but very sensible to avoid that car, as Lordy had to also possibly slowed down a little bit too much. They didn't really need to avoid the impact. As right now then, Callum Anderson still 5/10. DRS has been activated. He did close up a little bit now. 3/10, and these two are pulling away to CC Brain. Gap now 2.2 seconds. Maybe this is what the Ferrari team have been doing. DRS strategy to pull Callum along and then let him fight the other closing stages of this race.
Yeah, that could be the case. I mean, it would be one of the smartest things to do at the moment. I mean, they've got a good gap now. They can afford to fight, afford to lose like 1.5 seconds even. I mean, the gap is 2.5 at the moment, and a fight definitely would cost them a lot of time. But that would be okay if they've got a good gap. But the fight for P3 isn't over yet either. But like I said, I'm not sure if that Alfa Romeo tactic is really a tactic or if that's just coincidence. But it could actually be a bit of team orders there to drag each other along.
Oh yeah, you are correct then. It is working a treat compared to what Frome's doing, because he's getting double dirty air, and Lickle's slowly closing, it looked like there. But don't count Frome out at all yet. He's on softs, those two are on mediums. He's going to have a lot more grip. Could go for a lunge, possibly in this part of the track. As I will have DRS again. Let's see how close he can get to Cherry. As he goes back in ERS mode 1, we're now on lap 22 out of 26.
He doesn't gain much, does he? I mean, yeah, like you said, it could be a tactic to go for it towards the end when their tyres are pretty much done. I mean, they've got 12 and 11 lap old mediums right now. And Frome's tyres are just 6 laps old, so he might just wait for the right moment. Save his ERS. I don't know how it looks, what it looks like for Cherry, but Cherry still has got quite a lot of ERS left as well, even more than Frome. So it looks like the Alphas are safe for the moment if they can keep it together as they are doing it right now.
As you are right, and the gap between Callum Anderson and CC Brain now 2.8 seconds. The gap is increasing each lap. CC Brain has nothing to answer from the Ferrari team. As
Ash, meanwhile, round the outside of his teammate, maybe into Stowe. No, he thinks better of it. They went side by side into the braking, but Ash backs out. But now he goes down the inside. A very late dive. Small contact made, which unsettles the car for Ash. And luckily, he was able to hold his car right there. They are going side by side into turn 1. Please keep it clean, lads. Oh, that was really close, but I'm really glad that they were fair to each other and no contact made in that situation, and that's very late braking from Lordi.
What was that there from Lordi? He misses his braking point, almost takes out Dino in the process. So is Lordi having some issues in the McLaren now? However, the gap between Frome and Cherry is still within 3 and a bit tense. Still no close battling compared to the Williams team, who are still fighting side by side, trying to switch. Greeny's on the inside. Ash isn't going to get the best run, but what about traction compared to these two? Who's going to get the best out of traction? And they both had decent traction. What about Ash then? Will he go for a lunge on the fast right-hander? He's thinking about it. Goes to the outside. They're going to go side by side. There's yellow flags. That is a Renault. Cowboy is out of this race. Side by side, they go through the fast right-hander. And they're glitching through each other.
And now we've got a VSC deployed, which calms down the race a little bit. So we won't have the full 4 remaining laps, or actually not 4, 3 and a bit remaining laps. I think we will have like 2.5 laps left. But Jared, I gotta say, it looks like at the moment turn 6 is the place where you can overtake the easiest, even though that's not easy at all. That's still pretty difficult. But oh no, the VSC is out again, is gone, and now the two Williams are going for it again. Greeny shoves Ash out wide. He closes the gap. Ash backs out then to not make contact with his teammate. Obviously, they don't want to crash. That's rule number 1 of motorsport. Don't collide with your teammate. And and Greeny's gone. Greeny is gone. He's out into the gravel, and that's his points paying position done. They didn't make contact. I think Greeny had just a very unstable car through turns 1 and 2. He's gone over the bumps and then he's lost the car. His car was thrown to the right hand side of the track into the gravel, and Ash has got the position now, and that fight is definitely over. Very, very unfortunate for Greeny. Just 3 laps before the end of this race. But Jared, I gotta say, I'm still curious to see if the Ferraris will actually go for it. I mean, they've got a 4.2 second gap. I'm now not sure if Callum is just not able to get closer to his teammate due to the dirty air, or if that's just still team tactics.
I don't think it's team tactics anymore, as Callum now tries to possibly go for lunge.
Oh, and Frome got past Cherry. Finally.
Ooh.
The McLaren of Frome got past the Alfa Romeo of Cherry. I'm sorry that we didn't catch that, I think.
No, unfortunately we didn't.
But Cherry was closer to CC Brain than Frome was to Cherry. I'm pretty sure Cherry made a mistake out of Chapel that should be then, which compromises exit, and then Frome was past him even before the braking zone, so there had to be a mistake from Cherry, which demoted him down into P5 now. Very unfortunate, and maybe Frome can now actually go for P3 in this race. Licolo is not too far from Cherry either.
Yeah, as we're now on the penultimate lap of this race, and yeah, you're right, Frome's now up the 4th, CC Brain in 3rd. Now CC Brain may be under threat now. He can't do the Alfa Romeo tactic, if they were doing that tactic of course, as Brian Frome will be licking his lips for P3. I believe it will be the first time I actually will interview Frome if he does get 3rd. Of course, it could be CC Brain, it could also be Cherry, it also could be Lico, it could be anyone right now who could get 3rd. But Callum Anderson has lost some time, 1.3 seconds out of Boomer.
Yes, he's made a big mistake in the first sector. He's lost around 6/10 there. Now he's losing even more and more time. I think he's given up on the fight for the win. He's now 1.3 seconds behind. He goes off the track. Lodi picks up a 3-second time penalty, and we have to keep the penalties in mind, obviously. Currently the gap between Callum and CC Brain is 3.5, so that should be enough if Callum has only got one penalty. But we don't know what it looks like in the rest of the midfield. Lickle, meanwhile, is still under pressure from the Red Bull right behind him, which he got past right after the safety car, if I'm not mistaken. But it looks like Boomer is running away with it now on the final lap of this race, 2.2. I don't think he's under pressure from Callum anymore.
Oh yeah, you are correct there. He isn't under pressure anymore at all. It's 2.4 seconds and we are on the final lap. I'll tell you somebody who is under pressure though is CC Brain. Frome is now 5 and a bit tenths off the Alfa Romeo. Frome still got a chance. He can still see that podium spot for him, that trophy with his name on it.
Turn 6 is the best opportunity, but he's too far away. And he's only got Stowe left as a really good overtaking opportunity with a DRS straight, with a hanger straight right in front of it. But he has to get a good run through the S's to get close enough to make a move.
And yeah, you are correct there, as Frome is really getting close to CC Brain, as we will so soon go on board with Boomer, who's going to win this race, it looks like. Let's look how close Frome is through Mackett's and Beckett's. Will this be?
But he's lost out a little bit through the last part, and that has ruined his chances for a podium position right here. If the penalties don't shake up the order in the end, but he's definitely lost out. But Boomer now comes around the final corner.
So he'll take his win in the Ferrari. And it looks like it's going to be a Ferrari 1-2. And a fastest lap as well, 129.8. So he will take 17 points. CC Brain will take 3rd. Oh, sorry, takes second.
No, he takes 2nd. Callum still takes 3rd though. Licker goes 4th. And yes, penalties did shake up the order a little bit. Cherry gets demoted to P6.
And 8th.
What a race we've had. But congratulations to Boomer. He, even though the safety car tried everything to ruin his strategy and his race win, he just stuck to his strategy and got the win in the end. Also CC Brain, very calm, raced from his side, always wasn't 3rd, but then on penalties got Callum in the end. And Lickle also a very, very good recovery drive after being spun after turn 1 on the first lap. He recovered to take P4, very impressive from the Toro Rosso driver as well.
Sorry to cut you off there, Felix. Greeny I think just takes the fastest lap. He was opening sector 2 by a whole second on fresh soft tyres then, so he may have just stolen the fastest lap from Boomer, as I will make sure to have a look at that, if he did of course. As this is the results then. Boomer qualified on pole, took the win. Did he get fast lap? Did he do the triple? We'll find out with, I believe, CC Brain second and Callum Anderson third. Callum Anderson yet again on the podium, though. He will be happy with that with third, even though he didn't win. A good result, another podium.
I can confirm, though, that Boomer has got the fastest lap of the race still, with a 1:29.8, as he's the only one on the whole grid with a fastest lap inside the 29. So very impressive stuff from him. He takes the full 17 points of this race here in Britain, and a very successful race for him as well.
You are correct there, and it has been a very great race to watch and commentate with you, Felix. As Boomer then takes first, CC Brain in second by penalties, Callum Anderson third, Lickle, good recovery drive for fourth, From in fifth, good result for him, Cherry in sixth, Town seventh, Ash eighth, Mr Grumpy ninth, Lodi 10th, AMS in 11th, Dino 12th, Juho 13th, Sutty in 14th after starting 20th, Dre in 15th, and then Greeny in 16th. Cowboy, Cam, Bugatti, Tim all DNF'd within today's race, which is unfortunate, as we did have a weird crash between Bugatti and Tim earlier on this race, which caused a safety car, I believe, or VSC, which shaked up the order.
VSC it was. And we were right, Jared, when we said we have to keep an eye on Callum. He was up in the fight for the win, even due to the safety car which appeared midway through the race. Yeah, a great race from him as well, from 11th on the grid. I mean, to finish P3 in the end with even 2 time penalties, that is very impressive. But the Ferraris will be very happy, and with basically the second team with Alfa Romeo, which it basically is, just a Ferrari Driver Academy team, on the second step of the podium as well. I think Ferrari will be very happy with this one.
Well, yeah, they will be, of course, as now we will get the top 3 for podium interviews. Then, I believe it was Boomer, CC Brain and Callum Anderson, so we'll get those 3 in the interview. I believe I can spell Boom. That's Boomer, see if I can come up with it. If I don't, you might have to tell me the PSN name. Yeah, you're going to have to tell me the PSN name because it's not coming up the one I typed. If you can. Yep. That's alright. That isn't it. That's Boomer, right. CC Brain and S Boomer, right? S B. It's not coming up for some reason. Can you suggest it for me, Matt? And then I'll invite
I'm afraid
him.
I haven't got him in my friends list, so you need to wait a bit more.
Oh, Matt, that's fine. So I have invited the top 2 then. Oh, sorry, second and third place finishers. Apologies for this, Boomer, if you are watching the stream. Fortunately, you can blame PSN for not showing your name, as CC Brain has made it for the interview, and so has Callum Anderson. Well then, we might as well start off with you 2, and then we'll start off with Boomer near the end then. Well, I'm going to start off with Callum, who finished in 3rd. Well done, Callum. You got the win last week in Austria, and I believe you said you weren't as confident to get the win again for Britain, but you got a podium, 3rd place. You didn't have the best qualifying, of course. I believe you qualified in 8th, I believe.
11th.
Oh, sorry, 11th. My bad. Yeah, you did get a free choice tyre, actually. You're alright there. And the race played out very well for the Ferraris, with finishing 1st and 3rd, and we'd like to know your opinion, how the race went for you in general.
It was all good, to be honest. My pace weren't good around here, so I was just trying to get some good points, and then when the safety car came out, it just got on my race really. It's got me a free podium, free pit stop as well. So.
Well, yeah, that incident was, I believe, because of Cam, unfortunately, who did qualify 2nd, who looked like to challenge your fellow Ferrari driver. But in today's race, did you actually think you could win after the safety car and the VSC played out, or was that never part of the plan due to penalties you had?
Yeah, I had penalties, but I were pushing. I just couldn't get anywhere near him. I don't know what it were. I I just couldn't get good exits anywhere around.
Well then, cheers for that. I ain't got any more questions actually. Felix, have you got any questions for Callum?
Yeah, coming up to next week then, as I actually quickly need to check what race it is next week. Is it Germany? All right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it is Germany. So, Callum, Germany, Ferrari shouldn't help there as well in terms of straight line speed. Do you reckon that could be another good result for you, or do you think that could be a weekend for Ferrari like it was in 2018 in real life?
I think I'm decent around there, so I think I'll give it a good shot for like a podium or something, and then I don't know really.
Right, so a lot of confidence there if you want to go for the podium. Then obviously I wish you the best of luck, and congratulations for P3 today.
Thanks.
Well then, while I quickly get ready to suggest Boomer, Felix, if you want to take CC Brain, while I invite Boomer, which I have now. So, if you want to take CC Brain then?
Yeah, of course. First of all, congratulations on your P2 today.
Thank you.
It seems like you had a pretty good race all the way through, but did you fear that safety car midway through the race could hinder your race in any way because you were already on the medium compound?
Good question, to be honest. I wasn't really thinking anything about the safety car. I think it was quite well timed for me because I was running low on earth and fuel, so I could save a bit. Yeah, obviously Cam got the jump then on me, but in the end I got him anyway, and I think Boomer was just quick anyway. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, after the safety car restart, we saw you and your teammate not really battling, but always staying within that 1 second. You were basically carrying him along on the straights. You gave him a tow DRS and basically protected him from an attack from Frome, who was in the McLaren right behind you two guys on fresher softs, so on the softer compound. Was that part of your plan to help your teammate to secure P3 and P4, or P2 and P4?
I was in party with him, but I couldn't hear him, unfortunately. And I was just trying to do my best, but unfortunately the game doesn't allow you to break the DRS. And if you're in the same car, it's nearly impossible. Charity Pie is a great racer as well, and so it was impossible to break any DRS.
Yeah, but your pace generally looked very good. I mean, your teammate wasn't quite able to attack you at any point in the last couple of laps, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, P2 in the end. Your pace was really good today, but when we come to Germany next week, it's your home track. What do you expect from that then?
Yeah, firstly I have to thank the admin Luke Green. I got the call like half an hour before the race that I'm able to race, and yeah, obviously no practice. Obviously I got, I think, a better car than I should, but the car was free. I needed to fill the space, and let's see, I'm just a reserve, so let's see if I'm able to race next week.
Okay, so a very impressive job from you then, if you only had like half an hour of practice, if even that much. So if Jared doesn't have anything to add in terms of questions.
No, not any terms of question except the last question of next week, if you don't mind me taking that there, Felix.
Yeah, you can go with that
Well,
one.
CC Brain as well, my congratulations for P2. My last question then is Germany next week. How do you feel you're going to be with pace, of course, if you do get called up again, I believe, as you did say you were called up today. If you are in the Alfa Romeo again, do you think you could get possibly another podium, even a win, possibly?
I think we lost him.
Oh,
Yeah.
do you want me to say the question again, CC Brand?
I didn't hear anything, to be honest.
No, alright, my bad.
You're just cutting out for me.
Okay, I'll do it again. Well, CC Brand, congratulations for your second place.
Yeah, thank you.
Also, with Germany next week, how do you feel you're going to be on that track? Do you feel you're going to get another podium or possibly a win in that race, or do you think that may be out of the question?
Yeah, firstly I have to race because I'm just a reserve, but it's gonna be my home track. And yeah, it's probably car dependent how the pace will be, but let's see.
Okay then, well, good luck for Germany then, as it was good to see you on the podium today, and very good as a reserve as well. It was a very good race there with you, CC Brent and Callum and Boom, of course. Great result, and thanks for this little interview. As we will now move on to the race winner then. Boomer, if you are here.
Hello, yes.
Good evening. Congratulations on your win. I believe you've won before. I believe it was France you won last time. I believe
Yeah,
you got on
that
the
was
podium,
a
of course.
race.
Well, you did a very good strategy. I think you did the triple today, as I believe Felix said. You got qualified on pole, you won the race, and you got the fastest lap. How do you feel with this win and possibly a championship fight against Bugatti, or is that out of the question and you just want to get the races by and get as most wins or podiums as possible?
Well, never had a triple before in any of my leagues or FP, so I'm very glad about that. First of all, yeah, it was a very good race. In the beginning, I was under control in control of the situation and managed to pull a small gap to Cam, who was just gone after some laps, and after that could stretch the softs to lap 10 and went on to the mediums. And to be honest, I thought that the safety car was like ideal for the people who started on the mediums, because they could just had some kind of a free pit stop to go for the softs, and I was very sure that Callum would overtake me on his softer tires. But it was in the second half of the race quite more work for me than in the first half. I think I did a really good job, and I don't know what the allocations will be in the next couple of weeks, but you said like fighting for the title. I still see Bugatti far away in front. I don't know what the new standards will be, but probably I will be downgraded, so I don't think that I'm really competing for the championship. But if I'm like if I have so much pace in a Ferrari already, then maybe in even a car like the Red Bull or the Racing Point, I will at least be able to challenge for podiums, I hope.
Well, we hope as well. You know, it's good to see everyone to get a podium now and then, and also get a win, of course. And you know, it's been a very good result, you getting a win. But just another question of those soft tyres. When Cam lost it through the fast right, were you worried that it was the tyres starting to wear out and that could happen to you in the next couple of laps, or did you feel the tyres were confident and working with optimal range and you knew what you needed to do to try and win this race?
No, I was a little scared because I also had a strategy change to pit in lap 9, so I was like, oh no, my tire degradation is not going that well. But yeah, when I ultimately was driving in lap 9 and still, I think I even checked it and I was like 2-3 tenths under my personal best, so I was like, well, if the tires really go off, I can just drop the pace a little bit to at least make it till the pits in lap 10, and well, it worked, so yeah.
Well then, I ain't got any more questions. Felix, if you want to take the final question, which you may have on him, unless you have any other questions to ask Boomer.
Yeah, just the regular question, I'd say. Coming up to the next race again. Germany, your pace today was amazing, as we've already discussed. Really well held on the last couple of laps there with your slower tyres and older tyres. So Germany next week. Jared already asked you if you expect to be in the championship fight, which you denied because you think you get downgraded. But if we just go from the current standpoint, so if you are in the Ferrari for next week, do you think you could be in the fight for the victory again, and you could take the top step of the podium again?
Pace-wise, I would say yes. But in my memory, Germany was never been a boring or dull race. even before like the safety car patch that patched the safety cars up, there was always a safety car in all the league races I did in Germany. So I think it's also got to be a little bit strategical and a little bit tactical in that race to really be up at the front on the right time, and I prefer that to be in the final lap. Yeah.
All right, so promising thoughts from your side. So congratulations on the win today, and good luck for next week.
Thank you.
Well, thank you all the podium finishers for joining us for the interviews then. Well then, Felix, it's been a very entertaining race, of course. You know, it's first time with you in the comms with me, and it's been a very pleasant experience, very enjoyable experience. And I've got to say you've done a very good job with your first commentary with me, and it's been excellent. Have you got any other things you'd like to say?
No, I mean, we saw some very good racing today, a lot of excitement. Most racing was actually clean. Obviously, we saw some crashes, but that is basically inevitable in league racing, because if you are just a competitive person, obviously you want to get that spot very badly, and that's just racing sometimes, you know, things happen. But all in all, we saw a very good race today, and it was really fun, not only commentating in general, but commentating with you as well. And I'd be very happy if we see something similar next week.
Well, hopefully we do. Maybe a few incidents and a few championship rivals possibly crashing out. We may have a surprise winner, of course. You never know. It's F1. Anything can happen. But yeah, it's been a very good race, and now I'm going to do the closing off procedure then. This has been PSGL Season 25 FP Round 6 at Britain. If you want more FP content, join us next week, I believe, at Germany. Same time, Tuesday 8 o'clock. It'll be me and Felix as comms. And if you enjoy it, always hit a like, helps PSGL out. And see you guys next time. Goodbye.